Oh my goodness, you guys, that was shocking. That was absolutely insane. How much did Mike Pence just destroy Kamala Harris? That is not even a question. That is a blowout. That is objective. This was so much better for the Trump Pence campaign than the Trump Biden debate. This was insane. I cannot believe Mike Pence absolutely killed her. A huge win, an objective win on so many different fronts. I'll go through here and I took a couple of notes on some things that I thought were important, but overall, Pence won, easily won. That was absolutely a blowout. Mr. Sinister with the 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much, Mr. Sinister. Appreciate it. And this was even with a completely biased moderator. This is with a completely biased moderator. Asking that question at the beginning, saying the virus is not under control, as if you can control the virus, and as if the president gets to, control the virus or not control the virus. It's like, hey, moderator, you can't control a virus, a highly contagious virus going through community spread. Learn epidemiology. You can literally flatten the curve, but that's it. You can't control the virus. So then blaming Trump for not controlling the virus was totally biased. I thought there was a bunch of other instances where the moderator was completely biased, but I think one of the worst things about this was Kamala Harris and her attitude. So off-putting, very, very off-putting. She was sitting there, she was smirking constantly, she was laughing, shaking her head, rolling her eyes, with this little fake smile, extremely off-putting, very arrogant, conceited, extremely unlikable, unprofessional, smug, taking everything as a joke. I thought the way that she was acting was just, I was almost taken aback. I was like, oh my goodness, this is even shocking to see, because it was like, holy cow, does Kamala Harris not realize how she's coming off? That was a disaster. That was an utter disaster for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I cannot believe. Psalm with the 5 gifted tier 1s. Thank you, Psalm. Thank you so much. But I think that was clear. That was obvious why and how Kamala Harris did just absolutely terrible in the presidential debates and campaigns. She is very unlikable. She came off as extremely smug and arrogant, and somebody had made a comment that said, boy, anybody who disliked Trump in the last debate, they must hate Harris right now, or they're absolute hypocrites. Kamala Harris was rude. She was unprofessional. She was mean. She's mean-spirited. She's nasty. She's negative. She is very, very unlikable, extremely just nasty, mean, and rude, and smug and arrogant, extremely, extremely off-putting. And then I think this is so silly. David24, 245 bits. Thank you, David24. I think it's so stupid that Kamala Harris wants to try to, attack the Trump administration on the coronavirus response and the economy. It's just goes to show they do not have any good arguments. If their argument is that, oh my gosh, look at the economy right now, it's a bad economy. Everybody knows the economy problems are from a global pandemic, and it's not Trump's fault. Everybody knows that Trump has done a good job responding to coronavirus. I thought that was really gross, the way Kamala Harris said that the coronavirus issue is the greatest failure ever by an American president. What they're doing is covering for the Chinese communists. They're trying to blame an American president for something that is the fault of the Chinese Communist Party. I think it's revolting that these Democrats would refuse to place the blame where it belongs, which is on the Chinese Communist Party. They're providing cover. Subtly, thank you, Subtly. They're providing cover for the Chinese communists. And I thought it was hilarious because they actually asked Kamala Harris, hey, what would you do differently, Kamala Harris? What would you have done differently than what the Trump did? She had no answer. She couldn't answer it. That's because there is nothing else to do. They did everything. Trump did everything that the public health experts and doctors recommended. And more importantly, Joe Biden actually disagreed with the stuff that Trump did that was actually turned out to be the right thing to do, like closing the border from China. And so they're going to sit there and attack. Donald Trump for his coronavirus response, and then they have nothing. They have nothing to say about what they would have done differently. Not going to work well for him. Not going to work well for him at all. I thought Mike Pence had a great moment when he said the American people deserve credit, and Pence made that comment a couple of different times when they were debating the coronavirus issue. I thought that was extremely effective. I wrote that down. I think that's the American people are gonna be, you know what? Yeah, I think we do deserve credit. We've done a lot to try to control this virus, and you know what? We never once had our hospitals overwhelmed. Not a single American ever needed a ventilator and didn't get one. Not a single American ever needed health care and didn't get it. Everybody that needed a ventilator got one. Everybody that needed health care got one. This was a blowout success in terms of flattening the curve and not overwhelming our hospital systems. And in fact, we even put up temporary hospitals and sent the hospital ships out, and we never even needed to use them because we never ran out of hospital space. And that's the primary reason you flatten the curve. So it was a complete blowout success. I think the American people know that. Attacking the Trump administration on coronavirus is not effective, not going to go over well. I thought another example of the moderator being biased was calling the Trump, the Rose Garden event for Amy Coney Barrett a super spreader event. It's just so patently obvious that they only bring up this phrase super spreader event when it's some conservatives getting together. Never called the rioting and looting that literally happened day in and day out for months and months straight in the middle of a pandemic. Completely. Uh-oh. No, it seems like I'm back. It seems like I'm back. Um, they only use that phrase when it's a conservative event. They never do it for the moderator. They never do it for the rioting and looting. I thought that the Pence's comment about that event, saying that it was an outdoor event, everybody was tested, and that we trust the American people, and that was a big difference between Pence and Kamala Harris. Pence is talking about that we trust the American people to make decisions. We're proud of the American people. They deserve credit. And Kamala Harris is sitting there saying the American people failed and we want to do mandates and orders and lockdowns and government mandates and stuff like that. I thought that was a huge distinction. I thought that went really well for Pence. Pence talking about the American people deserve credit and we trust the American people. I thought that was a great job. I'm talking about